morning, world watchers, and welcome back. So, excuse the state of my kitchen, but this is early on a Saturday morning and I have got up especially because I'm going to do a recipe today that is a long and slow cook. And it's a long and slow cook because it is a budget recipe and it needs to be cooking in the slow cooker for 8 hours. So it needs to get on pretty smartish. Now, the recipe is using a cut of meat that I've not seen easily, readily available. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go to your butcher's and ask for it, because that would be what I would suggest. But I went into a butcher's and they actually had it there. So I picked it up and bought it. So it's something that we've seen a lot of recipes about, but we've never managed to get hold of it. And it's this. That's just one piece of meat. And this is an ox cheek or a beef cheek. Now, as it actually, the name says, this is the muscle that sits in the side of the cow that is responsible for chewing. So it's a very tough muscle because it has a lot of work, but it is also a really flavoursome cut of meat. So this is one cheek, and this cost me £6, less than £6.50. Okay, so the recipe I'm using is one that I found online, but it's actually for 4 people. So it says 2 beef cheeks, but it's only me and John going to eat it. So I'm just going to make the recipe. Everything else is going to be the same. The sauce and everything else is all going to be the same, but we've only got 1 piece of meat because we don't need 2 pieces of meat. And so there's going to be quite a lot of sauce, but that's absolutely fine. So, simple recipe. First things first, get it on. So, my slow cooker is warming. It's going to go for 8 hours on low. So it's on low, getting ready. Now, the first thing that you need to do is get a hot pan, and a high hot pan, because you're going to sear this fast, okay? John will put all of the ingredients at the bottom as he always does, but all you're going to use is your beef cheek, some carrots, onions, some button mushrooms, and then for the sauce we've got wine. You just need like a glass of wine. We buy these little bottles for cooking because they're just so handy. Some tomato paste, some brown sugar, garlic, quite a lot. It's a tablespoon of crushed garlic. As you know, we use paste or the lazy garlic that's already prepared. So there's a tablespoon of garlic in there. Some fresh thyme, a couple of bay leaves, and some beef stock. So literally all we're going to do first off is to sear our beef. That's not going to work with those, excuse fingers. I'm going in with the fatty side down into a dry pan. Now, what I would say when you're searing meat is don't fancy and fuss it about, let it do its thing. So you're going to leave it there until you know that you've got a nice brown crust on that side. So I'll sear this and I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, let's take that off a second. I have got a nice little bit of colour onto my meat, and I'm going to set that to one side. Now, still in that pan, I'm going to turn it down slightly. You're going to take your wine and pour your wine in. Now you're going to need to stir this and keep it moving. We're literally burning off the alcohol. So keep it moving because your pan is very hot. There we go. So what we have done is we have evaporated the alcohol from our wine, but we've also evaporated some of the wine. So you're going to have a nice sort of strong taste without the alcohol. And remember, we're slow cooking, so we don't want too much liquid in that slow cooker because otherwise it will just be watery. Although we will thicken this at the end of the recipe. Okay. basically, people, is your prep complete. So now you take your slow cooker, and into that slow cooker you add the rest of your ingredients. So in goes the carrots, in goes the onion, in goes tomato puree, brown sugar, garlic, button mushrooms, and then I'm going to stir this around a little bit. In goes our reduced wine, beef stock, again give it a stir, try and get these things all mixed in a bit. A little bit of salt and pepper. Create a little bit of an indent for my beef. In goes my beef cheek. And finally, thyme. You can use, you can break it up and use it as just leaves and therefore leave it in. I'm going to put my piece of thyme in and remove it at the end. That's just the way I like to do it. In goes the thyme and a couple of bay leaves. Lid on. And that's it for the next 8 hours. 8 hours on low. Towards the end, we are going to come back and thicken the sauce, but I will show you that when we get there. So have a good day, and I will see you back later on. Bye for now. Right, welcome back. So our beef cheek has been cooking now for hours and hours. It's basically been in there 7 hours currently. So it's on the end of its cooking time. So what we're going to do is thicken the sauce, because nobody likes a watery gravy or sauce, which is what it is. So here I have 70 grams of corn flour and about 125 mils of cold water. Made it into a slurry, and we're going to pour it into our slow cooker, like so. And we're going to give it a good mix around. And actually it's starting to thicken immediately because of the heat that's already in the slow cooker. So you need that to cook out now for a little while, just so that you don't get any floury taste, but you shouldn't do, not with corn flour anyway. It smells wonderful, and that is ready, or will be ready to serve in about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So don't thicken it too early on, but once you know that you're ready to go, thicken your sauce and you'll be ready to dish up. So I will show you a picture later with it on a dish with our vegetables. I hope you like this. As I said, it's the first time I've used ox cheeks or beef cheeks. Smells wonderful, cheap cut of meat, feed a family easily, and again, a lovely slow cooker recipe. So please give us a thumbs up if you've liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. If you have, thank you very much. It's really, really helpful if you do. And we will see you all again really soon back in the big OGGIE kitchen. Bye for now, everyone.